Hi, and welcome back to all my subscribers. And if you're not a subscriber, why? What's wrong with you? Okay, let's get on with it. I was looking again through the Internet Archive and at the Dr. Dobbs journals, and I was looking through Volume 1, and I found some really intriguing stuff in here, and I thought I'd share it with you. Um, it's, it's, it's fairly interesting, so stick with me. Um, if you're not into electronics or sort of low level assembler or even basic programming, this probably isn't the video for you. But if you're into any of that sort of stuff or you're just interested in computing history, then this is should hopefully be a very interesting video. So, what we've got here is a quick view of the. Let me just make this a bit smaller. Um, Dr. Dobbs Journal. Now, this was actually, when it started out, being printed on a photocopied paper and then just given away for free. And they had done a couple versions of a thing called Tiny Basic, which had like very few instructions, and but it would work on various machines. Um, and then people wrote in with improvements. Now, one of these improvements, which was from Dr. Robert Sunding, was actually to hook up uh, some electronics, some additional electronics, so a scientific calculator. And at the time, they were making these sort of calculator chips um, that you could buy uh, that went into calculators, and it did functions like trigonometry functions and all of that sort of stuff. And then this fella has told you how you can create this on a breadboard or whatever, and then interface this into your computer. So it's an 8-bit input port and an 8-bit output port, uh, and it uses a calculator chips in order to do trig, log, memory, square root, etc. Um, and then he also, tells you how to hook it up for display. But I just thought this was really interesting that people just wrote in to a magazine with schematic diagrams of how to build additional stuff for your computer. Um, and then, it gives you the functions and the hexadecimal and, the function it's going to return. So the input and the outputs. Um, and, and basically, you could just create this add on calculator chip. Um, Now, this seemed pretty expensive to me, but it'd be way more expensive now because you cannot get this sort of chip. I had a quick look around on eBay and things looking for calculator chips, and they don't seem to make these anymore. Obviously, nowadays you could use a microprocessor and do all of this, so there would be no need for any of this sort of stuff. But I just thought it was really intriguing that somebody would send in a magazine schematics and things to create an expansion pack for your computer that did, you know, um, calculator. Um, and then another thing that I found in this issue, which I thought was really interesting, was they published another version of Tiny Basic, Palo Alto Tiny Basic. And in the first 5 issues, we've published complete details and listings for 4 other versions. And now they're doing this one. Now, all of these were for the 8080, um, which was the sort of computer before the XT. So yeah, a really, really old computer. And they did do versions for the 6502 and other um, sort of relevant computer chips at the time. But what I found interesting about this is basically um, really hard to see. But I wonder if I can change the view. Yeah, let's just no, that's not going to work. But basically, this thing is the the source code in its entirety, right? And it's written. It's very difficult to see. I don't think I can swap this around. for you to see. Let's try this. Yes, here we go. So you can see here, let's just zoom in a bit, that this is the source code for this basic interpreter. And if you were so inclined, you could type all of this in and get a working copy. And you can see here, you can see the sort of assembler, push, pops, loads, jumps, compares, calls, etc. that make up this Palo Alto basic, tiny basic. And again, this is before you could just download the source code. Like, they literally printed it out and you would have to sit here and type all this in to get what you wanted. So, the next time you're looking at your sort of terabyte SD card or whatever, where you're just swapping files, remember the poor sods back in the day who got their source code the hard way and just typed it all in manually. So, yeah, what a nightmare. But interesting stuff, it's really, really interesting stuff that you can have a look at and check out. So just a quick visit to Dr. Dobbs' journal back in the day. You can get these on the Internet Archive and have a look yourself and have a rummage around at the sort of history of the early computer pioneers, really. And there's some pretty famous names in here, as I mentioned in a previous video. Steve Wozniak and Donald Knuth, and just lots of people whose names you will probably recognize as pioneers of computing. But that's it for me. I just wanted to run this past you. As always, don't forget to like and subscribe. Hit the bell to get notified of new videos. I am an author, and I would appreciate it if you could check out my books. They're available on Amazon.com and Kobo and Apple and Barnes & Noble and just about everywhere else. So have a look online, or you can go to my website, xgipublishing.com, and check them out there. But that's it for me. Thanks for watching. See you next time.